In this video, we will look at scatter chart and bubble chart. These are different type of charts in the sense that usually on one axis we used to have categories, but in scatter charts both the axes have numerical values. This type of chart is used to show the relationship between two variables. Let's take a look at our example problem to understand it further. In this data, I have taken monthly marketing emails that the company sent out and the corresponding sales it obtained. So in the month of January 2018, the company sent out 904 mails and the achieved sales was of 89 units. We have this data for next 24 months. Now I want to find out whether there is any relationship between these two variables. If I increase the number of mails I send out, will it increase the sales or will it decrease the sales? If it will increase the sales, how much sales will increase if I send out 100 more emails? Answers to these questions are suggested by scatter plots. To make a scatter plot, you will need to import the data from this scatterplot.csv file. Once you import the data, you have to add a scatter chart from here. After adding a scatter chart on a new page in your report, you need to set the two metrics that you want to plot on this scatter plot. I have kept marketing emails on the x-axis. In general, try to keep the variable which you can control on the x-axis. We can control how many emails we can send out, but we cannot control how many products will be bought by the customers. So I have marketing emails on the x-axis and sales on the y-axis. When you draw the scatter plot, it may look different because I have changed the starting points of the axis here. That you can do by going to the Style tab and changing the x-axis minimum value to 750. This will kind of zoom in on the part of the plot where most of the points are present. So when you do this, this is the scatter plot that you will also see. Now by visual inspection only, we can say that there is some positive relationship between these two variables. It seems that if we send out more mails, we will tend to get more sales. And if we send out less mails, we tend to get less sales. Of course, there is not a perfect relationship because sales will depend on other factors also. But overall, there is a suggestive positive relationship. To get more concrete idea about this relationship, I have plotted a trend line also. To plot a trend line, you have to go to the Style tab. In this trend line section, I have selected a linear trend line. There are various other options like exponential and polynomial also. I think this relationship looks like a straight line, plus we have less data to establish other kind of relationships. So we will choose linear trend line here. This is how thick that line should be and this is the color of the trend line. Now with this trend line, you can clearly say two things. One is that there is a positive correlation between email sent and sales obtained. And secondly, from the slope of this trend line, we can say that if I increase the emails by 100 units, what will happen to the sales? So at nearly 800 emails, this line has a Y value of nearly 81 sales. and at 900 emails, Y value is nearly 89. So by increasing the mails by another 100 units, there seems to be an increase of 8 units in the sales. And if we assume that trend line will be linear ahead also, then if we send 1000 emails, which is beyond this x-axis, then we will probably sell 89 plus 8 more units, that is 97 products. Unfortunately, Data Studio does not show the equation of this line. Maybe they will add this feature in the coming time. However, it doesn't matter much because this line is an indication of the trend, and the exact calculation of value using this equation may not be very reliable. So this is a scatter chart with a trend line. Now let's look at the other type of scatter chart, which is a bubble chart. A scatter chart works when you want to see relationship between two variables. But if you want to see the relationship between three variables, or how the first and second variable impacts a third variable, we use a bubble chart. Let's take an example to see how bubble chart is used. This file is bubblechart.csv. In this dataset, we have information of 8 participants to a weight loss program. So these are the 8 participants, A, B, C, D up to H. This column has their initial weights, that is weights prior to entering the program. This column tells how much time did the participant spend in this program. So it is the number of weeks spent in the program. And this last column has the amount of weight lost by each participant. So this participant A, who had initial weight of 285 units and spent 12 weeks in the program, lost 37 units of weight. Now I want to find out if these two variables, original weight and weeks in program, impact the final weight loss by a candidate. Now obviously this data is too small to make any claim, but still you will get the idea how a bubble chart helps in finding out such relationships. So you have to add the CSV file as a data source to your report. This is bubblechart.csv. Then you have to go to add a chart and select this bubble chart option and place it on your page. In the bubble chart, X and Y will be the two variables, that is the original initial weight, and Y variable will be the weeks in program. The third parameter, which is weight loss, will be seen as the bubble size. So a large bubble means large value of weight loss, and a small bubble means a small value of weight loss. Once you set the data tab, you will get this bubble chart. Now, how to make inference from a bubble chart? For this, you need to identify areas in the bubble chart where you can find a larger concentration of either big bubbles or small bubbles. So for example, in our case, we can see that the large bubbles are concentrated mainly in this region. Let me highlight this region. So within this region, we can find most of the large bubbles. Everywhere else, we see smaller bubbles. This suggests that participants who have weight in the range of nearly 200 to 350 units and who spent more than 4 weeks in the program see the best results. Otherwise, you may not see as good results as these guys. So in this way, we can hypothesize the impact of the two variables on the third variable. That is all I want to discuss in scatter charts. These are very useful charts, so do practice them. I will see you in the next lecture.